witches! So I just wanted to start off today's video by saying a super huge thank you to Lynx who joined my Patreon last week. Thank you so much. I am so grateful for all of my patrons. I really am. You guys allow me to do the things that I love, so I so appreciate it. I know it's usually just us witches, but today I really want to take some time and address the friends, the partners, or the parents of some of our novice practitioners who might not quite understand anything about our spirituality, and need some outside perspective, right? I found when I was first kind of coming into my own and started really getting serious about my practice, it was really hard for me to describe my, my beliefs and my personal take on spirituality and all of that, and I feel like there was a lot of miscommunication that caused some conflict that probably could have been avoided if I explained things better. So I just wanted to take some time, just having gone through all of that, to maybe be a little bit more able to communicate what witchcraft generally is, and at least from my perspective, quell some rumors and dispel some myths or stereotypes that you might have, just because that's what society tells us witchcraft is. So no judgment at all from me or anyone here, of course. I really just want to say thank you actually to the parents, the partners, the friends who are sitting down and taking the time to watch this video. Obviously this shows that you care about your loved one, and I think that's amazing, and I think that should be praised, because I didn't really get that growing up. I kind of got the opposite, and it would have been really nice if someone actually cared to sit down and watch something that I was showing them. So I appreciate you for what you're doing. Now, I do encourage you to have an open dialogue with the practitioner who is sitting across from you or next to you maybe right now, just to get their take on anything. So you might want to just pause this video throughout just to have an open conversation, which I think is awesome. I love open communication, just because my beliefs and my take on things may be a little bit different than what your friend or your loved one is taking away from it spiritually. So I just want to make sure that everyone is crystal clear, and that there aren't any miscommunications between parties outside of this video, because I am not in the room to clarify. So yeah, now that I've gone through all of that, let me finally introduce myself. Hi, my name is Becca. I am a hedge witch who's been practicing for almost 12 years. It'll be 12 years in September. I say that my anniversary date, or the date that I started practicing, was my 13th birthday, but I was always really interested in witchcraft. Growing up, I was raised Episcopalian and was very active in my church community, and following some unfortunate incidences that I really don't want to get into in too much detail here, I have another whole video about that, I kind of became disillusioned by the teachings of my church, and we actually as a family eventually left. Following that, I kind of had this crisis of faith. I really wasn't sure what was real. I was very young at the time as well. When I was at this kind of pinnacle of questioning, I discovered the religion of Wicca. Now, I personally no longer practice this religion, just because for me personally, organized religion just doesn't work for me. I like a little bit of a less structured way of experiencing spirituality. So I would take some time maybe now to talk to, your friend or your loved one about what they're looking for in their spirituality and what their path might be. I really was drawn to Wicca because it was such a different energy than what I felt when I was at this Episcopalian church. It was a lot more free form. It wasn't as formal, and it felt more personal to me. And I really liked the idea of having a female figure as a figure of divinity that I could worship. So that was really what drew me to it. Also, just being the person I was, and still am, I have always loved the planet. I love animals. I'm a vegetarian. So I care a lot about all of the living creatures on this planet, and I found that this religion really had an emphasis on giving back to the planet and giving back to the world around me and experiencing nature as divinity itself. Now, I totally see how that can be translated into any religion as well, so I don't really want to get too deep into that necessarily, and I would love to have that maybe conversation elsewhere or in the comments for sure, but that's what really drew me to it. I just really felt that connection to nature and that specific exaltation of nature and the planet around us to be just very attractive to me. Witches today, as we know it, are generally speaking solitary practitioners. That is the most popular form of practitioner, meaning that they don't really have a congregation that they go to, but they have, you know, a set of spiritual things that they will do for themselves. So instead of maybe going to church every Sunday or going to a religious event during a specific time, such as going to like an Easter service or a Christmas service, I personally am called to worship at least twice a month, once on the full moon and once on the new moon. Additionally, I celebrate a series of 8 holidays called the Wheel of the Year, and each holiday is really centered around celebrating the phase of, or a phase in the seasons, right? So we have 4 holidays that are celebrated, 2 on the equinoxes and 2 on the solstices, and then we have holidays in between that are welcoming in the height of those seasons. So it's all very much based around the planet and working in rhythm with the planet, and that's really something that I find a lot of witches and a lot of practitioners are drawn to. Now, the word witch does definitely sound like something very negative, and I know that there are a lot of negative connotations around witches and witchcraft. They're kind of seen as these villainous characters, very sinister, dressing all in black, which I do tend to do, but that's just because I'm a goth and black is slimming. What can I say? No, but I totally understand that there is this stereotype that is perpetuated about witches and witchcraft, and there's this idea that we are all doing this like evil, like dark magic, and personally, I don't have the energy for that. Like, I have found so much light and so much healing in witchcraft and in connecting with the pagan community. So paganism, just to define that, because there is a little bit of a difference. Paganism is a term used to describe any sort of religious belief outside of the major religions. So like Christianity, Judaism, Islam. So some people also include Hinduism and Buddhism in that as well, but some people also say that Hinduism and Buddhism is paganism. So it kind of just depends, I think, on who you're talking to. But anything outside of that is generally considered paganism. So a lot of indigenous beliefs as well fall under that umbrella, as well as smaller, more modern religions or modern practices such as Wicca. For me, witchcraft is not turning people into toads or throwing hexes at people. It's creating something calming and soothing for my boyfriend when he's having a really rough day at work, or combining certain herbs and crystals and whispering, you know, prayers over a small abundance jar to give to my friend when they're opening up a new business so it'll be profitable. So I would ask at this point, I would talk to your loved one about what their take on witchcraft is, what their goals are, and how they feel about, you know, paganism versus their spirituality, if they are a religious witch or wanting to be a pagan witch, because to be a witch, you don't have to follow any specific religion. I'm friends with Christian witches. Yes, this is a real thing. Pagan witches. I'm friends with Buddhist witches, witches who are Hindu, they practice Hinduism. Beautiful and vibrant community of people who are there to uplift each other and to learn from each other. So it's not this dark, evil thing that one might think. All right, now I'm sure I've rambled on long enough about my own personal beliefs and all of the wonderful things that I think about my spirituality, because it did, how do I put this in a way that isn't gonna make me cry? My spirituality, witchcraft, having that as a constant in my life when I was growing up is one of the only things that I think allowed me to succeed to the level that I have. Look, I've been independent since I was like 20 years old, living on my own, have a really good job. I am marrying the love of my life. Like, I'm not this like tortured, broken person that I was growing up. Like, definitely. There was definitely therapy involved as well, but I would say that my spirituality being a constant was something that was very helpful to me. Now, if you are watching this video and you are under the age of 18 or whatever legal age of being an adult, whatever that might be in wherever you're watching, just as a note, because I know I say this a lot, but I really want to drive this home, especially in this video. As a minor, if your parents say that you cannot practice witchcraft in their house, you have to listen to them. Legally, like, please do not take this video as me saying like, just do it anyways. That's not what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, please obey your parents. I did not, and I got in a lot of trouble, and it was like just not worth it. So save yourself some grief. This spirituality will always be here for you when you are an adult and able to make your own decisions. So, but at the time, like, my first priority, as always, for everybody who watches these videos is safety first. Do not do anything that's gonna like piss anybody off and potentially get you kicked out. It's not worth it. It really isn't, trust me, speaking from experience. So that is my spiel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, especially people who, you know, parents, partners, friends of these wonderful practitioners who are sharing this with you. I just really appreciate your time and taking just a second just to listen to me. So I do appreciate your attention, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.